Print with color management. Print with color management. How to print with color management. By the way, in Photoshop you can make best use of your custom color profiles by allowing Photoshop to handle color management. And you can also choose to let your printer manage color. And to better understand color management concepts and workflows, you should to see understanding color management. And let Photoshop how to let Photoshop determine printed colors. How to let Photoshop determine printed colors. By the way, if you have a custom color profile for a specific printer, ink and paper combination, letting Photoshop manage colors, by the way, often produces better results than letting the printer manage colors. We have steps. Step number 1, you should choose file firstly, then choose print. Number 2, expand the color management section at right. Step number 3, for color handling, choose Photoshop manage colors. Number 4, for printer profile, select the profile that best matches your output device and paper type, and if there are any profiles associated, by the way, with the current printer, they are placed at the top of the menu with the default profile selected. And the more accurately the profile describes the behavior of the output device and printing conditions, such as paper type, and the more accurately the color management system can translate the numeric values of the actual colors in a document. Step number 5, optional. You should set any of the following options again. And what about rendering intent? Rendering intent is meaning that it specifies how Photoshop converts colors to the destination color space, and you should to see about rendering intents. And what about black point compensation? Black point compensation is meaning that preserves the shadow detail in the image by simulating the full dynamic range of the output device. Step number 6, optional again. Below the print preview, you should select any of the following. What about match print colors? Match print colors is meaning that you should select to view image colors in the preview area as they will actually print. And what about gamut warning? Gamut warning is meaning that enabled when match print colors is selected, and select to highlight out of gamut colors in the image as determined by the selected printer profile. And the gamut, by the way, is the range of colors that a color system can display or print. And the colors that can be displayed, by the way, in RGB may be out of gamut for your current printer profile. And what about show paper white? Show paper white is meaning that sets the color white in the preview to the color of the paper in the selected printer profile. This produces, by the way, a more accurate print preview if you are printing on or off white paper, such as newsprint, or art papers that are more pink than white. And since absolute white and black create contrast, and less white in the paper will lower the overall contrast of your image, by the way. And off-white paper can also change the overall color cast of the image, and so yellows printed on beige paper may appear more brown. And step number 7, access the color management options for the printer driver from the print setting dialog box, and which automatically appears after you click print. And we have two options here now. If you use Windows, you should click the print setting button to access the printer driver options, and if you use Mac operating system, you should use the pop-up menu from the print setting dialog box to access the printer driver options again. And step number 8, you should turn off color management for the printer, so the printer profile, by the way, setting won't overwrite your profile setting. And by the way, every printer driver has different color management options, and if it's not clear how to turn off color management, consult your printer documentation. And step number 9, and finally, click print to execute. And what about let printer determine printed colors? Let printer determine printed colors. It's meaning that, by the way, if you don't have a custom profile for your printer and paper type, you can also let the printer driver handle the color conversion, by the way. And we have two steps. We have many steps. Step number 1, you should choose file firstly, then print. Step number 2, expand the color management section right. And note here in step number 2, the document profile, by the way, entry shows the profile embedded in the image. Step number 3, for color handling, you should choose printer manages color, by the way. Step number 4, optional, for rendering intent, you should specify how to convert colors to the destination color space, and a summary of each option appears in the description area at bottom. And by the way, many non-PostScript printer drivers ignore this option, by the way, and use the perpetual rendering intent. And for more information, see about rendering intent. And step number 5, you should access the color management options for the printer driver from the print setting dialog box, and which automatically appears after you click print. We have two options. If you use Windows, click print setting to access the printer driver options, and if you use macOS, you can use the pop-up menu from the print setting dialog box to access the printer driver options. And every printer, by the way, driver has different color management options, and if it's not clear how to turn on this color management, consult your printer documentation. Step number 6, click print to execute again. And what about print a hard proof? Print a hard proof. It's meaning that a hard proof, by the way, sometimes called a proof print or match print, is a printed simulation of your final output on a printing press. And hard proof is produced, by the way, on an output device that's less expensive than a printing press. And some inkjet printers have the resolution necessary to produce inexpensive printers that can be used as hard proofs. We have steps. Step number 1, you should choose view firstly, then choose proof setup, and then select the output conditions you want to simulate. And also you can do this using a preset or by creating a custom proof setup, and you should see soft proof colors. And the view changes automatically, by the way, according to the proof you choose, and then you choose custom to create a custom proof setting, and which you must save, so you can select them in the proof setup menu of the print dialog box. Step number 2, after you select the proof, you should choose file, then select print. Step number 3, expand the color management section at right. Step number 4, for color handling, you should choose Photoshop manages colors. Step number 5, for printer profile, select the profile for your output device. Step number 6, from the menu above the proof setup menu or rendering intent menu, you should select the hard proofing, and the proofing profile entry below should match the proof setup you selected earlier, by the way. Step number 7, set any of the following options. We have many options here now. The first option, proof setup. Proof setup is meaning that you can choose any customized proofs that exist locally on your hard drive. And the next function, simulate paper color, simulates what colors look like on the paper of the simulated device, and using this option, by the way, produces the most accurate proof, but it's not available, by the way, for all proof profiles. And next, simulate black ink. Simulate black ink is meaning that simulates the brightness of dark colors for the simulated device, and using this option, by the way, results in more accurate proofs of dark colors, but it's not available, by the way, for all profiles. Step number 8, access the color management options for the printer driver from the print setting dialog box, which automatically appears after you click print. And if you use Windows, click the preferences button to access the printer driver options, and if you use macOS, use the pop-up menu from the print setting dialog box to access the printer driver options. Step number 9, turn off color management for the printer so that the printer profile setting don't override your profile settings. And by the way, every printer driver has different color management options, and if it's not clear how to turn off color management, consult your printer documentation. And finally, step number 10, click print to execute.